Ladies and gentlemen, to paraphrase Bob Dylan, let me take you disappearing through the smoke rings of your mind for a couple of minutes here. We're going to take a ride on the imagination train because it's time to do something we don't really much like to do, but which we occasionally must do. Today, we're going to try to step inside the mind of a leftist. That's right. In fact, not just one leftist, but a whole gaggle of them, an assload, in fact. 0.50 Americas of them. And here's the difficult part. We're going to do it in good faith with good intention. So hang on to your vagina hats because it's about to get a little uncomfortable. You ready? Here we go. I want you to imagine with me for a moment that tomorrow it becomes legal in this country to kill clowns. Circus clowns, birthday clowns, clowns stuffed into a tiny car, stripper clowns. Doesn't matter. They're all legal to kill. And hey, surely we can all agree that the world will be better off with fewer clowns in it, right? Now, you're technically not allowed to kill them if they're outside of their makeup, but we all know you can get that done in places like Chicago. Hey, we just keep it on the DL for now, but as long as that unlucky bastard's got a red nose and a big-ass water-spraying flower on his shirt and those huge shoes, he's fair game. Sounds silly, right? And it is. After all, beneath the pancake makeup and the wig is the actual human being, of course. And we know that killing him or her, we don't want to be sexist here, would be murder. We know that for now. But imagine that even though this generation knows that clowns are actually human and doesn't usually kill them because it's wrong, our children grow up with it being legal. And then their children grow up with it being legal. And, say 50 years down the line, when we finally get around to starting the process of banning the killing of clowns, well, now everybody just thinks of it as their right. How dare anyone take away my right to kill a clown? As absurd as that sounds, it's absolutely not. History has proven to us time and time again that this is how people think. When slavery was abolished, by and large, the holdouts were people trying to protect what they believed to be their right to own human people as property. It didn't make them right. It doesn't make anyone, thinking it's their right to kill a clown right either. And, of course, it doesn't make the people desperately scrabbling just to hold on to the supposed right to kill children in the womb right either. But I want you to think deeply about this issue because right now is an incredibly fraught time. And if you don't think this country is capable of sinking into a second civil war over something like this, well, you need to think again because we're being torn apart at the seams. And the cheapest and easiest means of seeing it on display is on the social media landscape. We charge into that thing every day like a Tasmanian devil in a minefield. And so it's incredibly easy to simply think about, just think the worst about everybody on the left because they embrace as an enshrined right something which more properly belongs in the bylaws of a death cult. And when it comes to the most radical subsection of the left, you'd be right to think so. These are people out there whose worldview is so astoundingly rooted in unadulterated evil that you cannot and will not reach them with logic or grace. Their internal narrative is entirely shut off from the rest of the world. In an ironic word, it is impregnable. But consider everyone else on that side of the issue for a moment. Consider that they've been fed a story for 50 years, fed an idea that on its face even sounds noble. The left is excellent at marketing, and they've packaged abortion as health care, as making the responsible choice, as doing what's right for you. They started by labeling what should properly be called infanticide or murder in this country as safe, legal, and rare because that got their foot in the door. And the further they go, the more the marketing has changed from I can to I should, and how far away are we from I must? Remember, shout your abortion is just a stone's throw across a short creek from you must sacrifice your child for the good of the state. We all need to be capable in the coming months and years of stepping into the headspace of those whose opinions we oppose. It's not enough anymore to just tell some dope on Facebook that he or she has their facts wrong. The fight for life has literally just begun. We're going to talk more about some policy decisions that I think need to be made, especially in red states, if we're ever going to beat this thing. But I'm going to save that for another day. For now, just understand this. We have got to be able to get into their headspace because at the end of the day, legislation alone isn't going to solve this and it isn't going to heal this country. We have to be able to win over hearts and minds, and you can't even begin to do that until you start seeing their point of view. So in short, it isn't just that you have to teach this generation not to kill clowns. It's that you have to reteach them why it's wrong in the first place. And you only understand that if you understand how they see the clown. So, Jackie, Friday, we saw the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Turns the right back to the states.
Yes.
It's actually implementing the 10th Amendment, which Americans really don't understand how that works at all. They're used to the federal government controlling everything. Did you expect to see that overturned?
I did. I absolutely had believed for at least 10 or 20 years that we were going to see that day come. Partially because the younger you are in this country, the more pro-life you are, as a general rule. And I think that's because my theory is that the younger generation get to know their younger siblings and younger cousins as ultrasound images first that are celebrated at a very early stage. And so we're just far more educated about what goes on inside the womb than the 1973 generation that gave us Roe in the first place. I mean, those justices, one time I looked it up, on average, they completed their science education in the 1930s or so. Those justices who were sitting on that court.